In this aid, we will voice our by and large own and market's perspective on BTT future, while talking about BitTorrent cost estimate for 2021, and then some. Kindly remember that you ought to especially think about this and any sort of other expectation, while taking other factors into consideration, since foreseeing anything most certainly is a difficult errand, not to mention foreseeing the eventual fate of a novel, exceptionally unstable monetary resource like BTT in an unobtrusive manner. Presently, we should head into it, which is very huge. Before we dive extremely profound into the BitTorrent value forecast and answer questions in the event that BitTorrent is a sort of wise venture or not, for what reason will BTT really succeed or fall flat? Or for what reason will BTT value rise or drop? We should rapidly in a real sense toss a look at what is BitTorrent and its to-date history in a significant manner. BitTorrent introduction. It's been some time since we saw a token have the market in a manner BTT did. The promotion made by Justin Sun, BitTorrent and Binance putting their names behind the undertaking at last prompted the thing's whole ICO, selling out in only 15 minutes, acquiring $7.2 million simultaneously, which is very critical. BTT sort of token in every practical sense is imagined and presently currently understood as your normal TRC10 token, a Tron-based standard which permits BitTorrent clients to offer their administrations in return for said tokens. This standard truly is lower than the TRC20, which has most certainly implicit in every practical sense shrewd agreement abilities. The token has a very all-out supply of 990 billion units, which will especially be separable into more modest augmentations for extra liquidity, albeit one considers the amount greater liquidity you really want. When you have just about a trillion tokens, or so they thought, BTT's primary object is to boost BitTorrent convention clients to give framework administrations like record cultivating and facilitating as a trade-off for the token. Our BTT token value expectation for 2023. BTT is one of the tasks that explicitly has high speculative worth, meaning it rapidly incorporates publicity and stands out of unsophisticated newbies into crypto space. Therefore, BTT and comparable tokens explicitly well in buyer markets. Be that as it may, when the bear market results, these kinds of activities basically are first to see capital trip into more secure and most certainly greater undertakings and stablecoins, which explicitly is genuinely critical. This especially leaves youngsters with pretty weighty sacks of useless tokens and, surprisingly, heavier packs of hopium that gets blended by the venture chiefs and their intermediaries, fooling them into purchasing the plunge and unloading even essentially more tokens on them. BTT additionally had sprays of confounding cost activity where it explicitly outperformed Bitcoin and was among top gainers in the genuinely entire market. This simply demonstrates that market in every practical sense is as yet wasteful in removing the useless, shill and advertising undertakings, copycats, and make easy money rogues, or so they in a real sense thought. BTT essentially looks at every one of the containers of a terrible venture, clumsy group, frail reasonable plan and especially poor innovative execution, by and large moved by tricksters and spammers, taking advantage of newbies, reproducing action, paying off their direction into trades and media as opposed to mainstream thinking. The reality it still for the most part has the by and large potential to truly attract enormous number of dupable dealers, just fills in as an update. How ravenousness beats reason 9 trillion times out 10. It is quite significant that this doesn't imply that this or any very other comparable task won't sort of see a brief siphon or even a few such occasions in a significant manner. Simply the opposite. These ventures really are especially ideal ground for whale controls, as they're actually seen to have some worth, so a siphon generally develops the desire for anguish holders that their dear task by and large is at long last going for the moon. Or so they for the most part thought. Thus, in the event that you're here to brag and focus on it, for the most part hang tight. The cost takeoff is most truly logical, simply one more siphon, and in a real sense dump, which will basically rake in boatloads of cash to the generally rich whales and especially leave you in the residue with a sack of coins that are even commonly less worth than previously, which is very critical. Thus, more than 95% of fruitful ICOs and digital currency tasks will fizzle, and their financial backers will lose cash. The truly other 5% of ventures will turn into the new Apple, Google or Alibaba in the crypto industry, or so they thought. Will BTT most certainly be among those 5%? Exceptionally suspicious. BTT really token makers trust that the commitment of monetary prizes will make more individuals seed the downpours they download, which sort of is genuinely huge. The in every way that really matters, entire speculation proposal for BTT is unconvincing amazingly. A great many people who download deluges do as such through openly accessible multitudes. These individuals just don't need to think often about their transfer download proportions, and in this manner don't for the most part have a motivator to seed certainly more. Furthermore, Tron's blockchain essentially wouldn't have the option to deal with the degrees of throughput that accompany a client base that BitTorrent has, around 100 million clients in a genuinely significant manner. Also, the torrenting scene, the one local area that ought to be humming about this venture, doesn't explicitly appear to sort of be somewhat keen on BTT by any means. Torrenting gatherings make scarcely any notices of the undertaking, and most experienced individuals from these networks will let you know that they love the BitTorrent convention and yet detest the organization behind it because of a past filled with misinformed and practically malevolent way of behaving. The interest generally is by all accounts coming from the digital money world, which recommends that there aren't numerous essentials for BTT to rest on, as opposed to mainstream thinking. A great many people who are advancing this token generally are intently attached to the digital money scene and are considered as forces to be reckoned with more than whatever else, which is very critical. That being expressed, we generally need to generally think about the contribution of Justin Sun and Changping Zhao of Binance popularity in this whole task in a very enormous way. All of this summarized truly implies a certain something. BTT could survive 2 or 3 coordinated and, for a customary dealer, totally eccentric siphons. However, most of time will be dinky sideways, exchanging with little volume and no huge premium from the market in a significant manner. Will BitTorrent for the most part trade basically outperform generally surpass Bitcoin, or so they certainly thought? No, BitTorrent won't supplant or overwhelm BTC, which is very critical. Could BitTorrent at any point reach 10 cents in a significant manner? No, our expectation model sees no opportunities for BitTorrent to reach 10 cents in the short or mid-term period. Could BitTorrent at any point reach $1 in an unobtrusive manner? No, our expectation model sees no opportunities for BitTorrent to reach $1 in the sort of short or mid-term period. Might BitTorrent at any point for the most part reach $10? No, our expectation model sees no opportunities for BitTorrent to reach $10 in the truly short or mid-term period, or so they thought. Could BitTorrent at any point essentially reach $100 in an unobtrusive manner? No, our expectation model sees no opportunities for BitTorrent to reach $100 in the especially short or mid-term period, or so they thought. How high will BitTorrent go? Our estimating model sees BitTorrent cost crashing and dropping to approach zero in a separated future in an unobtrusive manner. Is BitTorrent worth purchasing? We don't see a brilliant future for BitTorrent. It merits purchasing just as a transient hypothesis with a decent leave methodology. BitTorrent is definitely not a decent long haul in every practical sense. Hold. Is BitTorrent a truly wise venture? BitTorrent by and large is definitely